Welcome, welcome. You listen to 360 Info. I'm your host, Antonio. To manipulate history is to manipulate consciousness. And to manipulate consciousness is to manipulate possibilities. And to manipulate possibilities is to manipulate power. Welcome, welcome. Got a great show for you. And it's a great Saturday. We're kicking off our Juneteenth events with a powerful lecture today at Tri-C Eastern Campus. ESS building, lot B3. Come on down, doors open at 2:30. We got the one and only Professor James Small. He will be lecturing today. And guess what, family? The lecture is free. I didn't stutter. The lecture is free. Come on down, enjoy it. This seems a little bit limited, but hey, come on down, get your spot. It's going to be a great day for you and a great show for you today. It's sun and shining today, a little cool, but it's okay. You can get a little work done in the yard without sweating, and so it's a good day for you. All right, on the remote studio, we got Brother Vince. What's going on, Brother Vince?
63 degrees outside, and it's starting to feel a little bit like summer, but not quite yet. We had a dose of that earlier in the week, and then it cooled down, and it's probably going to warm up again next week, so we'll be ready for it when it comes. But until then, we're looking forward to the lecture by Professor Small today, ESS Building 230. Be there. It's free. You just got the word. It's probably a relief to some of those of you out there who, sometimes it's a strain to reach into that pocket, but trust and believe it will be definitely well worth your effort to get there and to take in what is going to be on the table today. Also, coming up at Larchmere Arts on next Sunday, we are going to have the return of neo-soul poetry with the jazz poets. We will maybe we'll have a feature, but if we don't have a feature, we're going to have an open mic, and of course you can always hear the stuff that we'll bring to the table, spoken word wise. So we'll look forward to that. It's going to start at 5 o'clock, and the tickets are $10, and you can reach out, make your reservation by sending that $10 to THASOULPOET. That's $THASOULPOET, and you can reserve a spot in the spot. Also, don't forget, if you are interested in generating passive income, that means that all you have to do is go onto your computer, make a few clicks, and you just got paid. You can get paid every Friday. The passive income is phenomenal. I'm benefiting from it, and I'm compelled to share it. So if you're interested in learning how you can make money while you sleep, just send me a text message to Cashflow. That's CASHFLOW, Cashflow. And you can text 216-780-2470. That's 216-780-2470. Get plugged in and start making money now. We have a great show for you lined up. We have a special guest who is going to join us momentarily. And we have our resident physician, Dr. James Brown, on standby. He's also going to be bringing it to you today. You don't want to miss this, and hopefully we can talk about the summer solstice that's coming up, because it's already June, man. We're like 17 days away from the start of summer, the official start of summer, at least as far as the calendar is concerned. So with all that said, let's welcome to the airwaves. Her name is Mikki Smith. She is the vice president of the Little Africa Food Co-op right here in Cleveland, Ohio. This is a gym in our city. You must know about it, and you must join it. Join it. You can get a lifetime membership. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. Welcome to 360 Info Network, Mikki Smith.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm also present with our founder, Miss Telia Badu. So we are both present in the building today. And Vince, the last time we spoke, I was the vice president of Little Africa Food Cooperative. Mm-hmm. But since then, I have become the executive director over the collaborative. So I have recently received a promotion.
Oh, well, congratulations.
All right, okay.
And thank you for bringing Tila along for the ride. I spoke with her a couple of days ago, and she said today was going to be a busy day, and she didn't know if she would be able to make it. So we're definitely glad to have her on the program with us this morning. So why don't you start by telling us what the cooperative is and why it's important for Cleveland?
Sure, I can start off by saying that when we think of food, we think of he who controls the land and control the food, control the people. So Little Africa Food Cooperative, we take ownership in feeding ourselves. And when we say that and when we speak that intentionally, what does that mean? What we do is we go into the communities, we cook, we feed for them, we feed them. We also partner with other local food sourcing organizations such as the Cleveland Food Bank, the neighborhood food pantries, Village Family Farms, in order to obtain our food, in order to help the people in our community. And as you and I know, that there's a food apartheid in all of our urban communities, not just in the city of Cleveland, the state of Ohio, but all over the country. So when it comes to Little Africa Food Cooperative, our goal is to ensure that we have a grocery store that is owned, operated, maintained, and sourced by the people who look like us, and that is carbon native people.
Carbon folks. And you mentioned the term food apartheid. Could you give us a bit more in terms of that? Because there might be folks out there who don't fully understand that concept.
Okay, when you think of a food apartheid, we talk about apartheid and we talk about deserts. Desert is something that's natural that happens, but when we talk about apartheid, it's something that's done intentionally. When you think about the redlining of just land access, redlining, we can't get any type of banking needs in order to, take care of our communities. So apartheid, they're literally starving us out. Look at the Dave's that just recently closed. Look at all of the communities that do not have a well-sourced grocery store in their communities. All of those communities look like our communities, which is the urban communities. If you go out to Lakewood and you go out to North Olmsted, you have a plethora of food options. You have a plethora of grocery stores that have good, healthy food options. And when we say healthy food options, it's naturally grown source food. So that is what Little Africa Food Cooperative speaks on. We educate the community on that food apartheid. Most of our food comes from the local. They're in grocery stores. You got the gas stations that's selling chicken, that's frying chicken. Why? Because we like chicken. So what do? They're catering to our needs, but that's not a good source of food, chicken from the gas station. Mm-hmm. So that's what we talk about when we speak of food apartheid, Brother Vin.
Yes, it's interesting, Mikki, because I was just thinking about the fact that in the past few years we've seen a supermarket of sorts, Heinen's, right downtown in the heart of Cleveland. We've also seen a Dave's supermarket over there in the Midtown corridor, which we all know is an area that is being developed for folks who don't look like us at this point in time. So at the same time, we've seen the Giant Eagle over in Buckeye closed down. We've seen the Dave's supermarket out there on Lakeshore. That's closed. If it hasn't, already closed, they're talking about closing that down. So, this food apartheid, that's a really interesting way to describe what's going on. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this is no disrespect to the East Side Market, but, that space was closed down for a long time. And then there were some efforts made to reopen it. They reopened it. They had a produce section that was completely well stocked. And now when you go over there, there's hardly anything there, and definitely not a whole lot of organic stuff. So, we definitely have issues when it comes to food. And what I can see is that the food co-op is playing a role in perhaps addressing the idea of apartheid when it comes to food in our community. But folks need to know about this, and that is the primary reason that I thought it was important to have you on the air today. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some particulars about the food co-op, how it benefits our community and how folks can get involved with the food co-op. Membership is extremely important, and also taking advantage of the food that you have to offer is important too. So we're going to jump into that when we get back. You're listening to 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERE with your hosts Hamtonio and Vince Robinson. Our guests this morning at this moment are Telia Badu and Mikki Smith of the Little Africa Food Co-op. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi, I am Frances Caldwell, Executive Director of the African American Museum, welcoming you to join us as we continue to rebuild, grow, develop, and help the community. In addition to the rich historical exhibits we have, we are offering community education, cultural opportunities to enhance our children, including free dance and business classes. The African American Museum celebrates over 60 years as America's oldest independent Black museum. And as our founder, Ichabod Flewellen, intended, we are heading for higher heights and renewed community education, history, and culture. You can contribute to the success of this valued institution by becoming a member. To make your $35 yearly membership pledge, Cash App $AAMCLE. For more information, please visit our website at aamcle.org or call 216-721-6555. Thank you for your support of Cleveland's African American Museum.
Welcome back to 360 Info Network with Antonio and Vince Robinson. Our guests this morning, Telia Badu and Mikki Smith of the Food Co-op. Mikki has just informed us that she has been promoted. Congratulations on your promotion. Why don't we shift gears and talk to Telia for a moment? Can you tell us about the genesis, the birth of the Food Co-op, the Little Africa Food Co-op here in Cleveland?
Sure. Peace, everybody. Peace. Yes, so Little Africa Food Co-op started in 2016 after the murder of Philando Castile. We as Black people, we get up in an uproar when something happens, and somebody, a good friend of mine, posted on social media, like, are we mad or are we going to do something? And my smart self was like, yeah, we should start a grocery store. In response, because they killing us every day through the food. Mikki talked about the apartheid throughout the United States. It's more than 40% who live more than a mile away from a grocery store. A grocery store should be in walking distance of where people live, and it's more than a mile. So, yeah, that was my solution, is coming up with this grocery store. But then a cooperative came, which is a little bit different from a grocery store, right? Because a grocery store is like capitalistic, where a person owns a business and they don't really care what the people think or what they want. It's just owned by one person, and one person benefits from that grocery store being there. A cooperative is different, which is a very challenging thing for us, just being real as Black people, doing things cooperatively. Like, it's a cute thing to say, but really working cooperative. Memberships is one, but really being a part of your grocery store, because it's not my grocery store, it's your grocery store. This is our issue. So just taking ownership and feeding ourselves, really seeing what that means, like really being hands-on far as the growing of the food that we do at Village Family Farm, as well as when it's time for the store to open, us sourcing from Black local farmers, from Black entrepreneurs who have products that can be in our grocery store. A lot of us have products. Me, myself, I have a product body care line. It's called Pangea's Gift, where I make and sell body butters and soaps. So, just having our creativeness in our grocery store. Like, what does that look like? What do you want to see when you walk into your grocery store? You want to see Black faces. You want to see Black products that cater to you, cater to your needs, cater to your liking, the foods that we eat, and understanding what that looks like. Real food. I try to get away from the word organic, because we can have organic grapes with no seeds. That's not real. So I want to say real food. A grocery store that has real food with seeds, and that's grown with love, and that's grown with proper nutrition. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that was the birth.
Okay. So I'm curious, because I brought up the issue of the East Side Market, and part of the reason that they don't have the same selection of produce that they had before is because we weren't purchasing it. One, I'm wondering what kind of participation that you're getting from the community. And two, I'm just wondering what can we do to educate and influence our folks to perhaps embrace the idea of eating healthier food, because a lot of the stuff that we eat, as you pointed out, is not healthy.
Yeah, you are what you eat, and I know that was like such a cliche, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? We're not eating real foods, and the community trying to get them to eat healthy is it's been challenging, but what we do is cook for them, and I think that has been a thing, is that people don't know what healthy eating looks like. People think that, healthy eating is just a salad. It's boring. So putting our culture in healthy eating, like you can still spice it up. You can still add some love to it. You can add some seasoning, and just really taking ownership, because we don't really know where our food is coming from. Like, I think about the Similac shortage, and if we didn't even have that ideology, like, what is Similac? That's not even real milk. Like, real milk, not powder, you know what I'm saying? But not even a cow. Like, we shouldn't be eating from a cow anyway. You know what I'm saying? So just really taking ownership of, like, what real food looks like. What does that, a lot of moms are, like, really going through anxiety right now with this.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I know it's kind of an ancillary issue, but I was just thinking about the fact that how could you say that we're challenged because infant formula isn't on the shelves when mothers are equipped to feed their children? They were born for that. And I know that there may be societal implications, but you just have such an abundance of milk for babies, but then you can't get it at the store, so your baby has to go hungry. I can't really wrap my mind around that.
And that's the educational component, though, right? Because we don't know. And then that's the economical component too, because if I'm a working mom, right, if I work and I can't pump or afford to stay home and nurse, like it's so much. That's why we have to approach this thing holistically and cooperatively in a village for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so mommy can pump this milk, or mommy can now stay home for at least a year so that her baby could get the proper nourishment. You understand what I'm saying? Or understanding the importance of breastfeeding. If you can, if you can breastfeed, then do so. Just encouraging each other to do the proper things when it comes to overall health. It is hard. It's almost foreign for real in the Black community. I met a brother the other day say he don't eat fruits and vegetables. I was like, you don't eat what? You don't eat fruits and vegetables? How you living? But this is what our people are doing. Like, we're not eating real food, and we don't understand the importance of it. So the collaborative piece being the educational and programming piece on educating our people. What does that look like? Why breastfeeding is important? Why you can produce more milk if you eat the right foods. Eating green vegetables produces more milk. Drinking water produces more milk. Just understanding that. And it's, I could be on the
right.
rant.
I was really struck by what you said about the community not participating. You know, that the whole idea of cooperative economics is a basic principle of African culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to think that we don't want to participate when it's part of who we are to do that. It's really kind of disheartening to hear that. But on the other hand, you were successful in creating the co-op, and I know that there are people who are engaged in it. So could you talk about how people can get involved in it and what the benefits are of being involved with the co-op?
Yes, so with the cooperative, which is the for-profit, the grocery store, you can become a member. Right now we have 3 membership tiers, 2 that we're kind of promoting now, which is community membership. That's $150. And that just, you know, you having a membership, so when it's time for the grocery store to open, I hate to say that like that, but you have discounts on the groceries. You have discount right now on the classes that we offer, which is through our nonprofit piece as well. Then there's a component where there's, I hate to say foodies, but food service professional membership, which is a little bit higher. But that's the food service, meaning caterers, restaurant owners, where they could buy in bulk in the grocery store, and they could save on money with that aspect. And then there's always more volunteer work, being hands-on at the farm, being hands-on in the up-and-coming actual grocery store. A lot of us have expertise in certain things, and we need, like, all hands on deck, like, whatever that looks like administration work, you know what I'm saying, marketing, a street team, you know, all of that. Like, we need surveys that need to be done right now. So just all hands on deck. That's how that look. Whatever your expertise is, let's get this grocery store open.
Okay. So tell us if
land acquisition.
All right. So tell us how folks can get involved. How can they reach you and join and start participating?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram, Little Africa Food Collaborative. Our website is Little Africa Food Collaborative, FCO.com. And our Gmail is Little Africa, F as in Frank, C as in cat, O as in octopus, at gmail.com. So, yeah, I think I answered it. Oh, and our phone number is 216-345-9712.
Okay, 345-9712. I'm writing it down. I'm going to put it on blast and wait for the phone to start ringing. Folks out there, if you're listening, you need to be a part of this. You know, we looked at the closing of Dave's. We looked at the closing of the Giant Eagle over on Buckeye, and we threw our hands up in the air and said, what we going to do? Well, we already doing it. You got a place that you can go and you can get food that you weren't getting at those supermarkets after they closed. And, you know, the store over on Buckeye reopened under different ownership. I don't know that situation improved very much at all over there, but it is what it is. But, you know, we can wait for others to take care of us, or we can take care of ourselves. We can deal with cooperative economics as we are as a people, as we do as a people. We have that option to us right now. Sister Mikki, can you share with us any upcoming events, anything you got going on that you want to let us know about?
Absolutely. The collab is doing our Taste of Art event that is coming up July the 9th, 2022. It will be at 1-2 Crawford Road, or Malcolm X Way, as it has been renamed, and that is at Village Family Farms. We are looking forward to a fun-filled day with the community. The last time we had that event was in East Cleveland, and we did it on Lee Road. It was as a theme of how they used to do the Love Fest. So our goal for the Taste of Arts is to make sure that in our chef competition that we have so many different local artists that is going to bring the love and the food to the people in the community, where it's going to be taste testing, samples, just things for the kids to do. So just come on out on that. That's July the 9th. But prior to that, in our educational component, every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Village Family Farms, we have our growing program. That's every Sunday, and that is from April up until October. So we have things going there, educational, bee courses, you name it, we have it there. And then we have an opportunity to do some educational lectures at Tri-C West that's coming up, and then we will be feeding the people over at I can't think of the name of the church that's coming up, but we will be feeding over 100 people on June the 18th. So just look for Little Africa Food Collaborative and look for our partner growing organization, and as Village Family Farm, as we are doing some amazing things in the Huff community and throughout Cuyahoga County.
Okay. Talk about some of the things that you're growing over there. I mean, if you're growing, it's fruits and vegetables, I'm sure. But perhaps you're growing some spices like thyme and rosemary and sage and all that good stuff. Yeah. What kinds of things are you growing in your operation?
What are we not growing? We will have chickens this year. And eggs. So we started last year, so we will have chickens, we will have eggs. But as far as the fruits and the vegetables, we have peaches, we have strawberries, we have apples, we have pears, watermelon, squash, zucchini, peppers, hot peppers, ghost peppers. We got thyme, we got rosemary, we have oregano, we have basil, we have mint, we have sage, we have ginger, we also have cucumbers, we have melons. You name it, we are over there growing it, So, again, when we talk about the farm piece of it, our marketplace, Little Africa has been working on the marketplace, and we cannot forget that we also have the pollen that you can put in your tea, that the honey that the bees make, but we also have honey over there. So we have so many variables of value-added products that we have there. We also have the honey and the sticks for sale. So, Brother Vince, we have a plethora of food and vegetables and herbs because we have to live and feed each other off the land that was given to us.
Okay,
that's
so
what was given to us, and
yes,
that's what we got to do.
All right, so what you have described is food as medicine, and we are being joined by Dr. James Brown, who is a staunch advocate of food as medicine, and he can inform us of what foods are medicine and how they can benefit us. Welcome to 360 Info Network, Dr. James Brown. He's our resident physician. I invite you ladies to stay with us. You can chime in if we can provide some opportunities for that, but we'd like to welcome to our airwaves Dr. James Brown. Dr. Brown, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Vince. Good morning, Antonio.
Yes, how you doing there, brother? Everything good?
Brother. How about yourself?
All right. Yeah, I invited you on the show, Doc, to I know we're talking about food here, but, with me, it's always about education. Even though we kind of like forgot about the pandemic that is going on, but, by listening to Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci, they lingering around, hey, this thing ain't over. So, I just was encouraging people whatever they was doing to build their immune system, and I guess food is a part of that too. With our conversation, get some good healthy food is one of the keys to keeping your immune system on point. But I wanted to educate our folks so they can make an informed decision and an informed opinion on this whole thing that we're dealing with this virus piece. And what I want to discuss briefly with you, Doc, and the reason I invited you on was, do most people understand exactly what a virus is? What where did it come from? I know I've read some stuff where they classified it as it's not a living organism. It needs a host, and then this whole piece of jumping species. What kind of phenomenon is that? Is that a regular occurrence? Is it something that? So to educate our folks so they can make an opinion about what's going on, because just like the food desert situation, we got to know what's going on around us and just can't, trust, everything that's being told on the television.
That's a very interesting piece. Well, basically, a virus, there's a debate as to whether or not it's a living organism or just a code of information. And so the compromise is that they say viruses are on the edge of life because there are two basic kinds. One is its genomic pattern is DNA, just like human beings, deoxyribonucleic acid, and it has a series of genes. Then the other species is called RNA, which is ribonucleic acid. And so DNA codes for RNA. RNA codes for proteins. So a virus is a short segment of genes wrapped in a protein coat. Why it doesn't fully fit the definition of being alive is that it has no ability to make energy, so it has no metabolism, it has no ability to excrete waste, and it cannot live on its own. So viruses, how they live in plants as well as in animals, is that once inside of a host, the virus infiltrates a cell, and once it's inside the cell, it loses its protein coat, and then it goes into the DNA of that cell, forcing the cell to make more viral particles, whether or not they're DNA particles or RNA particles. So once that cell has reproduced a number of the viral particles, that cell will burst, releasing more of the viral particles. And if you destroy enough cells, then that's how a disease process comes. So, for instance, let's just take COVID-19. So initially, it involves the respiratory tract, gets in through the nose or the mouth. And, some of the worst signs and symptoms are the pneumonia that it occurs. So it gets down into the bronchial tree, down into the alveolar sacs. And as the virus replicates, it destroys those cells that it had infected. And so that's basically how the virus, what a virus is. It's a code of information, not fully alive, but it does manage to replicate itself. But what it does is it hijacks the host's own cells to force its replication and eventually destroying those cells unless that host's immune system kicks in and starts to destroy the infected cells.
I'm going to ask a question that might be appropriate at this time, perhaps not. But I've been, of course, as many have been, taking in a lot of information. Some of it is public knowledge, some of it isn't. But there has been some indication that the spike protein that they are using in the formula that they're using, it does not confine itself to the injection site, and that it may find its way to other parts of the body where it may pose a danger. Have you heard or gotten any information along those lines?
I have read those same articles that you have. And, I would say that I know some of that is true. Whether or not it actually will cause a chronic disease pattern or chronic problem is not known at this time. But we know that part of that is true because that's what causes some of the systemic side effects from the vaccine. If it were just in the site where it was injected, then you would just have local swelling and tenderness. But some people are getting fever, they're getting chills, they're getting body aches. Some people are experiencing rashes. Some people are experiencing cognitive disorders. It seems like right now, most of those eventually resolve. Whether or not that's going to cause chronic problems remains to be seen.
Okay. One other thing that I've heard about, and again, I'm not saying that it is true or not true, but one thing that they are saying is that there have been issues with myocarditis, particularly in younger folks and particularly in males. Have you heard anything to that effect?
Oh, yes. There's definitely been a number of cases of myocarditis as a result of that. But, let's not forget that with the COVID infection, it's not just respiratory, which, is why we see a whole array of symptoms. It can attack the neurological system. So people have cognitive disorders, cloudy brain, confusion. It can also cause weakness in limbs, numbness and tingling. Some people onset had diarrhea, which means that it had infected the intestinal tract. I know of 2 cases in particular where it actually caused renal insufficiency, mild renal damage, kidneys. Mm-hmm. So this is a systemic infection, and it would not just be limited. Heart is just one manifestation, but it can go anywhere in the body. And that's kind of typical of viruses, period. Some have a localized mechanism of action, like the hepatitis virus, A, B, and C, human papilloma virus, which can get into the throat, cause throat cancer, but mainly is confined to the cervix where it causes cervical cancer. So these things really, once the virus gets in, it has a systemic effect unless the immune system is able to confine it and then extinguish all the cells that are infected.
I'm glad you brought up the idea of the immune system. As we have this conversation, they're talking about a new strain or perhaps another virus. I think it's called the monkeypox. And it seems like every year there's something else that threatens us in terms of our physical nature. But there are also things that we can do to maintain a healthy immune system. And I think the vaccination is perhaps one of the things that is suggested or recommended for that. But can we talk about some things that we can do in general just to make sure that we have a strong, functioning, and healthy immune system that will protect us from the things that threaten us?
Certainly. But let's just backtrack a minute. You mentioned monkeypox. And so that is a virus which is similar to the smallpox virus. And usually monkeypox, and why we're talking about it now is because what's unusual, it was mainly confined to Africa, and there would be small outbreaks. But now, for whatever reason, we are seeing cases of monkeypox in Europe and in the United States, as well as Africa. Going along with that, I don't know if you're aware, but there's also been a series of hepatitis cases in children in Europe, in America, also North America, and children are dying and requiring liver transplant because of this unknown virus. They're not sure why the monkeypox has moved outside of Africa, or what the cause of this hepatitis virus, which is affecting 2 continents. And Lynn had mentioned before this viruses having the ability to move from species to species. And one of the things that seems to be happening, to put this in a holistic view, as our climate has changed and as it's starting to get warmer, animals are migrating from areas that they usually inhabit to other areas, bringing them in contact with species of animals that they were not in contact with, who may not have immunity against certain viruses. And so they are finding that these viruses are jumping from species to species. And to bring it back to your first segment, when you were talking about food, is that, one of the things that can occur, it happens with the Ebola virus, is that when human beings eat animal products, they can ingest viruses that are in the animal meat. The animal may not suffer from the disease that the virus causes. It's just a carrier of the virus. But when the virus gets into humans, it will then cause an infection. And that's how Ebola spreads, and that's how HIV spreads, and that's how, hepatitis viruses. And so this climate change is also having an effect on the spreading of viruses from species to species. And some of this, of course, is going to come back to humans who, enjoy eating animal products. But to your point, so how do
Well, we're gonna take a break, so hold that thought. I just want to underscore the fact that you have given us a reason to think about not ingesting meat, or perhaps not ingesting as much as some of us do. That's quite a thought there, brother, and I'm so glad you raised it. I might be the resident vegan in the room, but that's definitely food for thought. You're listening to 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERU with your hosts, Sam Antonio and Vince Robinson. Our guest is Dr. James Brown, and we also have on the line Telia Badu and Mikki Smith of the Little Africa Food Co-op. I did post a link to the Little Africa Food Co-op on our 360 Info Network Facebook page, so if you want more information, you can go there, or you can just put in littleafricafco.com, and you can get to the URL that will connect you with Little Africa Food Co-op. We'll be back with more 360 Info Network after this. We're back, 360 Info Network with Antonio, Vince Robinson, and our guest, Dr. James Brown, and we've been talking about all things virus. Scared to say that word on the air for some reason, because the censors are listening, and they're measuring every word and the factuality of everything. But we're talking about information that is public knowledge, so we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and hope that they don't wield the hatchet. Dr. Brown, I interrupted you as you were giving us some information. I want to allow you to return to that thought.
And so you had asked me, how can we keep our immune systems healthy, since we're recognizing the spread of these unusual spreads of viruses and the spread of unusual viruses. And so, it's a multi-layered approach. One of the things that is required for healing is that you have to have enough energy for the immune system to take care of what it needs to take care of. And so, we have a tendency to look at food as satisfying hunger cravings. But, if you translate what the hunger means, it means that for the most part, you are deficient in energy, and you're looking for a fuel, a source of energy. And that basically is what food is. So yes, we are absorbing and assimilating the atoms and the molecules of protein and carbohydrates and fats and turning that into our own cells and tissues and organs. But there's also energy in live food. And so that's why we, eat plants and vegetables. It's not just for the minerals and the vitamins. It's also for the energy, which, in yoga they would call prana. In China and Kemet, we call, China, they call it chi. In Kemet, we call it ra. Is the energy of that plant, which gets its energy from the source of all energy in the world, and that is the sun. So actually, when you're ingesting food, you're trying to ingest the energy from the sun. And plants are the closest thing to it. The animals eat the plant, and so if you eat the animal, you're kind of getting your energy source third hand. And to tie this in with the original point that Lynn had brought up, and if you're eating the animal, you're also going to eat the bacteria and the viruses that are infecting the animal. So if you've got issues with your immune system, expect that to be triggered by some of the bacteria from the dead and the decaying flesh of the animal that you're eating.
Yes.
So that's one aspect of it, is that you want to get the highest quality fuel that you possibly can to energize your body so it can, help to energize the immune system to fight off things that are going to come at us. The biggest part of the immune system is in the gut. It's in the small intestine, where actually there are, several trillion of bacterial cells in there which produce products that we need. And if that garden of bacteria is disrupted by eating too much sugar, by taking antibiotics, then it cannot be in harmony with you, and it will not help to produce the substances that our immune system required. So taking a good probiotic is a very good way of helping to keep that balance while also limiting one's refined sugar intake. The sweet drinks, the artificial sweetened foods, the things with high fructose corn syrup. You want to try to keep away from those things as much as possible and get your sugar from a natural source. Grapes, sweet melons, figs, dates, peaches, this time of year, fruit that is sweet, and also things of that nature. So that's just kind of like the basic way to take care of your gut and its immune system and make sure that you're getting high-quality fuel.
Right, that's what they was. Yeah, Doc, I was reading something that basically said, too, that, you're going to come across viruses and bacteria and stuff like that. That's a normal phenomenon. But I guess what makes the difference is how your body responds to them. You're going to get those. Those are a part of life, the virus and the bacteria. It's just based on how well your body fends off and deals with those particular bacteria and viruses, and I guess that's when your immune system kicks in to, based on how well you have taken care of or even, treated or gave it the energy necessary in order to ward off and fight off things,
And to carry your point a bit further, there are known viruses which cause cancer. So a number of lymphomas are produced by something called the Epstein-Barr virus. Hodgkin's lymphoma, B-cell lymphoma, they're caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. Cervical cancer is caused by the human papilloma virus. And so our body's immune system is also designed to fight cancer cells. And we all form cancerous cells. A cell that is not under any, a cell that has gone out of balance replicates itself and is out of harmony with everything else around it. Our cells are part of a system, and so they are replicated, and then there's a built-in time mechanism where they eventually degenerate. They are gobbled up by the immune system, and their products are recirculated. But cancer cells don't follow that regulation. They don't follow the laws. So they start to grow and grow and grow, and they do not perform the function of the organ that they're in. So, for instance, a breast cancer, it is breast is fatty tissue with which ducts which produce secretions. If a mother is lactating, it produces milk. The cancer cells will not perform that function, and they will continue to grow unless the immune system catches them when there's just a few of them and wipes them out. So we all form cancerous cells. What happens, though, for people who end up forming a cancerous tumor is that the immune system has failed to recognize and shut down and exterminate these cells which have gone out of harmony with the area that they're in. And so part of keeping cancer free is a regular detox. You have to get rid of the poisons and the toxins that accumulate in our body over time. And also, you have to take antioxidants, using things like blueberries, vitamin D, vitamin C, those kind of antioxidants, which also boost the immune system, so to help it to recognize cancerous cells and eliminate them, along with the viruses.
That's definitely a strong case for continual detoxification and not just the seasonal detoxification that some of us embrace. I know we're coming up on the summer solstice momentarily, and I wish we had time to talk about that. Fortunately, we don't. Maybe we'll be able to get you on beforehand so folks can tune in and find out exactly what they need to be doing. But we definitely want to thank you for raising our consciousness about the importance of having a strong immune system, because we have to protect ourselves against so many other things beside the one thing that's dominating our social consciousness at this point. Dr. Brown, thank you for joining us, as well as Telia and Mikki from the Food Co-op, the Little Africa Food Co-op. The link for the Food Co-op is in our stream on the 360 Info Network page, so we will invite folks to check that out and make that connection. Brother Hamptonio, we're about to close things down.
Yes, all right. Again, Brother Doc and the ladies, we thank you for your time as well. And like I said, come on out today. We were preparing a powerful lecture. I think Brother Doc is going to be there, Dr. Whitaker, Brother Wayne, Brother Paul Hill. So y'all come on down and join us down here at Tri-C. The doors open at 2:30. It's a free event. And come on down and let's kick off the month of Freedom Month well, okay? So we got to go to the website, thefreedommonth.com, and get all the listings of all the events in this month.
Yes. So you're going to be in the ESS building on the campus of Tri-C Eastern. That's over there, Richmond Road and Harvard. In, I guess that's Warrensville Heights, is it not?
Yeah, yes, Warrensville, Highland Heights, right in that borderline area there. Come off Harvard is the best one. Go to the second bus shelter. You'll see the back of ESS building, the auditorium.
All right. We look forward to seeing you there and all of those luminaries that you just mentioned, including Dr. Brown. You can come and check him out as well. So look forward to being there. Also, we'd like to thank our engineer, Tone. He's been with us before. He's with us again, and we appreciate his service and his efforts in making 360 Info Network the value that it is to the community. Again, we'd like to thank our guests for joining us today. And don't forget, you can come to Larchmere Arts. That's 12726 Larchmere Boulevard next Sunday. That's the 12th of June. It's a week before Father's Day. We're going to do a live event with music and the spoken word. Also, if you are interested in generating passive income, that is something that you don't have to do a whole lot to get to, don't be afraid to send me a text message. Just text cash flow to 216-780-2470. Again, that number is 216-780-2470. Get plugged in and you can start earning within a week's time. I guarantee it. Thanks for joining us on 360 Info Network. As always, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. Make today your best day, Cleveland. Peace.